Ah, who knew? You have a limit, a time limit when you do this. Okay, well, now I know. Brit, Cree, Maya, thank you for letting me know that there is a time limit on this. I think that's it. Let me just look at some of the questions. I've thoroughly enjoyed this time with you guys. We will definitely do this again. And I think next time what I'm going to do is actually skip the cheat meal because I didn't do with it. And just going to go right to the taramana because I know you guys want to do that too. Like, let's just get right to the alcohol because we need it. What's up, Jim Quick? It's good to see you, brother. Ryan Ochoa, good to see you, buddy. I love your stuff, Jim. All right. All right, here we go. Oh, this is good. So I'll answer this, a few more questions, and then we'll wrap this thing up. What movies stand out as being my most enjoyable to make? Come back to me on that one, Maya, please. The movies that I really enjoyed making, whoever just asked me about Booker T, come back to as well. This goes by quick. Joey Swole, what's going on, brother? Get those guns out. You ain't ready for these guns. Hiram wants to know what am I going to watch after I do these cheat meals. Well, I'm going to watch all that you send me. That's what I'm going to watch. All those dirty gifts and memes. The movies that I really have enjoyed making. This is a good one. Every movie brings its own brings its own set of challenges, brings its own energy, its own mana, and brings its own level of opportunity to be successful. Every movie, I try to make movies that give us $7, the greatest, us at $7, and whoever the studio is that I'm partnering up with, Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony. I try to make movies that gives us the greatest opportunity to serve as many people around the world as possible. And that's really important to me. And speaking of serving people around the world, I've had a blast, making every movie again. You make new friends, you have new people to work with and bounce off of, and new actors to work with and bounce off of. I would have to say 2 movies stand out of being the most fun I have ever had in my career. One would be Jumanji, making Jumanji. Making Jumanji was such a pleasure to make a movie like that from our director, Jake Kasdan, who was also our lead writer, the vision that he had with the first Jumanji and this last Jumanji. Thank you guys so much around the world for making a massive success beyond our wildest dreams. The friendships that I have gained with Kevin Hart, Karen Gillan, Jack Black, Aquafina, Nick Jonas, our resident rock star, and our entire crew has really been special because I got to tell you guys, it's really rare that a movie like that of that size and scope and magnitude with that many people who are kind of famous, that have their own degree of ego. But in this case, everyone's just beautiful and such a pleasure to work with. And also, I think the mana of Jumanji was special right from the start because we went into Jumanji wanting to honor Robin Williams and what he created and the spirit of which he created it, because we're all big fans. The movie exceeded all of our expectations, and it turned into this billion-dollar franchise that I'm just so grateful. But I also had the best time. I have the best time shooting Jumanji. The other movie that I had the best time shooting is Jungle Cruise. I've had the best time. Jama Colette-Serra, our director. Of course, Emily Blunt, who is just spectacular in the movie and would become, she's just such a cool friend. And I love her and her family, and our families are close. and Violet and Hazel, her kids, and John, her husband. So we love them, and I love her, and had the best time. Jungle Cruise and Jumanji. So those would be my favorite movies that I've ever made. Fast and Furious. I have the best memories about Fast and Furious because just creating that character Hobbs is one of my favorite characters to play because it's such a direct extension of who I am, of just me and my DNA. Really, I always felt like Hobbs was just a version where you take Dwayne Johnson, you turn up the volume, the treble, the bass, add some hi-hats, add some, some crushing cymbals, and you get Hobbs. I had the best time with Hobbs and that whole crew. But that's always, you got to pack your lunch with Fast and Furious because that is and I mean that in the best way because it's an intense movie. We had a lot of laughs on Fast and Furious every time I shot, and I shot 4 of them, Fast 5, 6, 7, and 8. A lot of laughs, a lot of intensity, and a lot of opportunity to tap in to some rage on those movies. So I always have very, very fond memories of those movies. All right. James Jefferson, Team Idris. Oh, shut up, James. Idris, I hope you're feeling good, brother. I love Idris, by the way. Idris Elba, he was amazing to work with. Just a phenomenal brother, and I can't wait to work with him again. He's great. All right, what do we got? Andrew Jenks, good to see you, buddy. Best Brian Gerwert story. This is going to be good. Ileana Sua, hey, what's up, my daughter, my movie daughter, Jason Hodis, what's up, brother? Greg Kittle in the house, what's up, my man? Enjoy your taramana. Greg Kittle, the tight end, the people's tight end from the San Francisco 49ers, I saw him at the Super Bowl. I had 1 bottle only of Taramana Blanco, literally fresh off the conveyor belt. They only made 1. Out of Mexico from Taramana Distillery because we were still months away from opening and I just had my 1 bottle. This was it. I brought it with me to the Super Bowl. And I was so excited to finally meet Kittle because he's the people's tight end. He had such an incredible season. And we take our picture together and he's like, dude, is this your Taramana? I was like, yeah, brother. He's like, can I have it? And everyone's looking at me, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, you can have it. You take that Taramana, brother. He's like, yeah, and he runs off with the Taramana, and he starts drinking it that night. He's like, it's delicious. And I love that. But then when he left with the Taramana, my whole team was looking at me like, all right, well, there goes your word. Jesus. And I was like, it's all right. All right, you give it, when my man asks for it, he's got it. He's the people's tight end, and I'm the people's champion. He gets the first bottle of Taramana. Then we made 2 other bottles for, and then Oprah got the first Reposado bottle too. Hello, Oprah. How are you? Cheers. Thank you again for our beautiful event and your beautiful toast. Okay. Last story. You're not ready, Simi. Kittle, let's go. Yes, my man. All right, so I'll give you 1 Brian Gerwert story because you asked, Andrew Jenks. Right now, Brian Gerwert is sweating. There's heart palpitations. All right, Bro Bible, good to see you, brother. Found out how WrestleMania would end. Wait, come back to me with that question, Bro Bible. I missed it. So Brian Gerwert's story. This is a good story. Now, even though you guys right now are going, who is Brian Gerwert? Brian Gerwert is our VP of television programming for $7 Productions. Brian Gerwert, just so you guys know, and you'll appreciate this about him, we look like twins. He is, I'm kidding. We could not look any more opposite. But he's one of my best friends and one of our most brilliant executives. So just so you guys know, so Brian Gerwert, was the lead writer for the WWE for many, many years. And before WWE had writers, I did a thing at a pay-per-view at SummerSlam in 1999. I'll never forget it. And we were in, I think, Minneapolis, I think. Brian was working for MTV, and I did a thing with MTV. It was like a cross-promotion, WWE and MTV. I met Brian then. He was a producer of the spot. He worked for MTV, and I really liked what he was saying, and I thought that I liked some of the things creatively that he was coming up with, and I thought, you know what? I said, is there a version where you and I continue to work together? I would love to pull you into the WWE, and let's work together. It feels like you love pro wrestling. You have a good handle on my character, The Rock. Let's do some stuff. Let's see how it works. And if it doesn't work, then all right, fine. No harm, no foul. You could leave, go back to MTV. So I went to Vince McMahon and I said, I think this would be a really, he could be a valuable asset for us. Let's bring him on. So we bring him on. Of course, it does not work out at first because the wrestling business at that time was not ready to absorb having a writer. And I understand, but I also felt like there was a need in pro wrestling to expand and evolve. So the more minds, the better. I don't give a shit where the ideas come from. They could come from MTV. They could come from around the world. They could come from someone who works in waste management. I don't give a shit. Just bring me the good ideas. Best idea wins. So I started working with Brian. We kept him on, and we worked closely together, me and Brian. Now, eventually he became the WWE head writer for many, many years. Cut to Survivor Series 2012, I believe it was. No, I'm sorry, 2011. I can't remember when it was, but it was my big return match back into the WWE. It was a tag match. Myself, John Cena was my partner. We were going up against the Miz and Ron Killings. And it was a huge event. It was my big return, Madison Square Garden, a place that I started my career. I literally had my first match in the WWE in Madison Square Garden, home away from home, New York City, embraced me like their son. That just launched my career and thus launching my love affair with New York City and the relationship I have with them. So we're in the back and I'm doing my promo. And all of this, by the way, is on YouTube. So enjoy this when you watch it back. It is the promo that I deliver backstage right before I'm getting ready to go out in the ring. I'm backstage, Madison Square Garden, boom, we go live. I'm cutting my promo. I asked Brian Gewirtz, and by the way, I should back up. Every rock promo that eventually became popular, iconic, every saying, if you smell, it doesn't matter. I mean, every promo that I've ever done, the Martin Luther King promo, the it doesn't matter promo, I mean, you name it. Brian and I wrote, and Brian, myself, and Hiram, who's the president of $7, we work collectively and we're always writing together. So the promo backstage, I'm cutting the promo. I asked Brian, I said, Brian, I want to include Frank Sinatra's New York, New York in this promo. Start spreading the news, right? I said, I don't know where I'm going to go with it, but I feel it. It's New York. It's my return. And I said, just write down, if I can make it here, I can make it anywhere. It's up to you. And I said, write down a few other just words like Little Town Blues and something else, but they were all referential to the song. And I just needed a line or two. And I said, write it on the paper, stand over there by the camera, and if I need it, I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to pick up on whatever line, Little Town Blues or whatever it is, I'm going to pick up on it. And I'm going to say it. But just stand over there and hold that paper up in case I need it. He's like, I got you. I was like, all right, this is it. The promo's on fire. I am on fire. I used a reference that Dusty Rhodes referenced, who's one of the greatest promo talkers of all time, and he was one of my heroes. My dad, Rocky Johnson, wrestled with Dusty for many, many years in many territories, or a few territories, I'm sorry, especially down in Florida. I'm good friends with Cody and Dustin, and so I use a reference from his Hard Time promo. I mean, I'm telling the fans, my hand reaching out to your hand. I mean, I'm on fire. And I give Brian the cue, hold up that paper, crowd's going crazy. And I was like, all right, and it reminds me of old Blue Eyes, or however I get into the promo. And I know the paper's right there, and all I got to do is just look at it. And I'm saying my promo to the crowd, millions of people at home watching, and blah, 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 blah. And The Rock says, and I look over at that paper, and I look over at Brian. He's holding that paper. He's holding it like this. Yeah, he's holding it like this. And Brian's looking at me, and he's so confident. And Brian's like, yeah, you got it. Come on, that's it. Give it to him. Give it to him. And he's holding the paper, and it's backwards. The writing was this side. He's holding up a blank piece of paper. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, ah. And you could watch it back on YouTube. Luckily, I smoothed it out. I got through it. I didn't like just stop in my tracks, but I was like, Jesus Christ, Brian, of all the times. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't believe it. So thank you for that question. Brian, cheers to you, my friend. Frank Sinatra's pissed off at you, but it's okay. We're tight. All right. Dark Side of the Ring. Good to see you guys too. WrestleMania 17 against Stone Cold. So a few things. Okay, this is great. Come back to me on that. SportsCenter, ESPN. So I wasn't surprised, no, how I felt about the finish of myself and Stone Cold Steve Austin in our WrestleMania match. No, I loved working with Stone Cold every time we worked together. He is truly, truly, truly one of the greatest of all time, or arguably the greatest of all time. He's my friend, and he took me under his wing when I was a punk kid rookie, and, understandably so. You got to earn respect of those OGs. And there was something about me that Steve saw, and he took me under his wing, and I'll always appreciate that about him. And I love you, brother. Cheers to Stone Cold. It's not a beer, but it's a tequila. All right. Next couple of questions. Then we got to wrap this thing up. My computer's blowing up with my text. She's like, get your ass in here. Woman, the loving's going to have to wait until the business is done. That's how you got to talk to him. I'm going to get the talk tonight. I'm kidding. Pete Berg, good to see you, brother. Do not go gentle. Never, ever. Do not go gentle. Pete Berg was a great director and still is. By the way, we directed The Rundown. We worked together on The Rundown together. We got to do something else in the future. I look forward to it, Pete. What can I share with you guys about? Oh, that's a good question about Young Rock. So Young Rock is a TV show that is with NBC, and $7 is producing, and it is a story about my life growing up, my years as an adolescent and teenage years, and just I had the wildest time growing up. And many of the stories are documented. Buying my first car from a crackhead in Nashville, Tennessee, when I was 15 years old, to, I mean, everything. And there's so much to go through, but I can't wait for that. We are currently casting. And by the way, it's been very difficult actually to find who's playing the young me. But we are looking hard, and we can't wait. So the scripts are almost done, and we can't wait to get going and start shooting that. All right. Last question. Let's see. Who gets the last question here? We'll end this one with Jim Quick. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. What brings me joy? Let's see. Gary Owen Comedy. Good to see you, brother. Keep doing your thing. Thank you for saying that. So Jim Quick just said, I bring a lot of people joy. What brings me joy? Okay. So thank you for asking that. My family brings me joy. My family, my babies, my wife, the people who I keep around me. I keep a very small, tight-knit group around me. They bring me joy. My work brings me joy. It truly does, because everything that I do, I want to make sure that I feel deep in my bones, and it's an extension of me, whether that be in film and television, taramana, tequila, some of the other investments and the things that we're developing and doing. So that brings me joy. And I will tell you this, the thing that brings me joy as well is people. People bring me joy. I believe in the good in people, even though there's a lot of bad out there in the world, and it can be often magnified, when it's showcased through the media, and understandably so. But people bring me joy, because I have found over time that, you find inspiration and a quality in places that sometimes you never would expect. So the life that I have today is not a life that I expected to have. I didn't expect to be famous, and that wasn't ever part of my desire. My desire was truly, honestly, my desire was not to be poor. I didn't want to be poor. I was tired of being broke, and we got evicted, and I just didn't want that to happen anymore. And I felt like I could control things, my outcome of my life, to a certain degree with the work that I put in with my own two hands. But the point about finding motivation and quality in the human spirit is something that I've realized over time, because the life that I live, and any kind of achievement or goal that I'm able to achieve, that's predicated only on a relationship that I have with the audience, the people, with you guys, the consumer, the customer, the fan, the people, human beings. So it has become this really beautiful dance that I've come to embrace and come to appreciate and be so grateful for. Because whether it's buying a ticket to a movie, or whether it's, buying workout gear, or just this kind of connection where nobody's buying anything, and it's just you and I connecting, and we're talking, and I'm telling you stories, and some of the, being entertaining or trying to share stuff, life lessons, and you guys are talking back, and this kind of engagement. I truly find joy in this. I really, really do, because I don't take for granted the life that I have, and I'm very, very grateful for the life that I have, but also really grateful. And I know that it's in order for me to have the life that I have, we have to have the relationship that we have. And you know what's funny is, and thank you again, Jim, for asking this, is I always say, look, if you strip it all away, you strip everything away, strip it all away, strip it all away right now, strip it all away. And I know what it's like to have, to live paycheck to paycheck and live in, trailer parks and places like that. Look, because there was a time where I wasn't famous and no one really gave a who I was. You strip it all away. You strip it all away. It will always still come down to relationships to me. It will always come down to relationships. Life comes down to relationships. The relationships that I have with my loved ones and my babies. The relationships that we have together, that I have with you guys. So strip it all away. This is all that's left, truly. So with that, this has gone on, I think, a lot longer than I anticipated, but that's okay. I enjoyed this. Truly. Thank you guys so much. We should do this. You know what? We're going to do this once a week, since we have a little bit of time. I'll break out the tequila. You guys bring whatever liquid beverage of your choice, whatever that may be. You make it a Shirley Temple. I'll make it a Taramana margarita, and we're going to have a good time. Thank you guys so much. I will end this with a toast. And that toast is to you guys. Is to you guys, everybody around the world. And the toast is to staying strong, to staying patient, to staying disciplined, staying vigilant, to holding on to that fundamental quality of faith not in a religious sense, but in a sense that things will get better, and they will. They will get better. And cheers to resilience. All right, love you guys.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.